Dear Elke Büdenbender, Judge and First Lady of Germany and member of the board of the German-Israeli Future Forum, dear Ms. Cyprius, Chairwoman of the German-Israeli Future Forum and former Federal Minister of Justice and Economics of Germany, dear Mr. Dittrich, President of the Skilled Crafts in Germany, and dear representatives of the Chambers of Skilled Crafts in Germany, dear representatives of the German Parliament, the German Foreign Office and the Embassy, dear participants of the conference, dear colleagues of the German-Israeli Future Forum, dear members of the board of the Baeck Institute Jerusalem, dear friends and colleagues. I'm very glad to be with you tonight and to open the conference dedicated to the 70th anniversary of the Baeck Institute that we called Back Home. Home is a word that encapsulates a whole world, a lifespan of legacies and memoirs, sights and sounds and smells. What is home in Jewish German context? What are its locations, its contexts? What are the customs and practices within these homes? And how does it attest to the experiences of migration, return, generational gaps during the years? How should we interpret homes as a residence, as a space for hospitality, neighborhood, friendly encounters, capable of hosting strangers and others from across social or religious borders? How should we ask about the home lost or destroyed and the one left behind when we are displaced? And what's left of home in our hearts? The concept of home is multi-layered and referred to at one and the same time to a material structure, a psychological phenomenon, and a socio-cultural function. Home is a physical site that buffers between the private and public, and it's serving simultaneously as a social space for interpersonal and intergenerational relationships. Naturally, it's also a highly personal place identified with the self as well as with the intimacy of the family. Our preoccupation at the Institute with the topic home for this conference was and is entangled with our historical and present-day realities in Israel. Hundreds have lost their homes and hundreds of thousands had to leave it due to the war that followed the Hamas attack on October 7. At the same time, we do not have the moral privilege of ignoring the destruction and displacement across our borders in Gaza, most of whose houses were destroyed, with hundreds of thousands of Palestinians displaced and prevented from returning to their homes. Home is out of the self-evident that we seek to examine the stable, the resilient, the anchor, but also the unstable, tottering, and transient. So against the background of this war, we plan this conference on the meaning of the home in the German Jewish past. And within this topic, we want actually to capsulate some things that the Institute here in Jerusalem dealt with over the last years. And this is a specific physical place. It's the house of the Baeck Institute at Bustenai 33 here in Jerusalem, a German Jewish home because it was built as a home for the elderly German Jews that came here in the 1930s. This house, where the activities of the Institute in Jerusalem are taking place in the 1960s, was formerly the club room of this building of the elderly people. And it's until today the place where all our activities, our research takes place, where we have encounters with scholars from within Israel, from visitors from abroad. It's a place for discussion, for joint learning. It's a place for culture in the middle of Jerusalem. And it's our home that we could safeguard thanks to a very special project that we would like to celebrate with you this evening. The project is called Building Bridges for the Future. And you now will hear a bit more about it with the initiator, Germany's First Lady, Ms. Elke Büdenbender. And I also would like to invite Jörg Dittrich, the President of the German Chambers of Skilled Crafts, to come up here, the two of you. And I think we also still have two participants of the group. We had last week the honor to have a group of young craftsmen and women coming from Germany here and working together with people from the crafts in Israel. and they renewed the garden of the Institute, and you have the chance to learn a bit more about this physical home of the LBI. So, Ms. Büdenbender, please.